Hi, everybody. Um, good time of the day, negotiation practice community. And today we have an interesting discussion coming up because we have a question from one of the members of negotiation practice community. What do we do in case we face someone who is using Chris Voss tools on us? The Black Swan group tools, and we can recognize it, and what happens, what is our experience, what do we feel at this point, and how do we react to that or maybe counter that? It's an interesting question, and we are practicing negotiation for quite a while, and we do recognize the tools. We are aware of what other people say, more aware as we practice, because we use the same tools. So what do you think about this? What is your favorite way of countering that, or if you even try to counter, or does it change your way of negotiation?
Okay, if I can chime in. So for me personally, when I encounter someone is using empathy-based communication tools, because in essence, that's what it points to, is people using empathy with you. And when someone is using the techniques, tools, first of all, gotta understand where they're coming from. What is it that they're hoping to achieve? Is it an attempt of manipulation, or is it just a way the other person communicates? Sometimes people just communicate that way. So it's not too often that you're gonna face a full arsenal of FBI tools being unleashed on you. That's just a little bit strange, right? But empathy-based communication is not a new thing. It's been there for eons. It's just another way of communicating. It's a verbal observation of situational and emotional dynamic, and being present, actively listening to you. So how do you respond to that? Respond appropriately, I would say. I mean, if you're interested, where they're coming from, whether they are familiar with those tools, you can gently inquire, and there's just another topic to build your trust upon, to build your rapport. If they're not aware of the book, well, it's still interesting. You made an observation and you connected over some point that you might be coming back later on to unpack a little bit more. So I say use it as an opportunity to explore.
I've encountered them at times, and sometimes it seems like those kinds of tools, sometimes like Eugene just said about empathy-based listening tools, I've actually complimented people on their use of the tools, and when it was appropriate, told them that they were really good at that and that I appreciated that they seemed to care about what was going on for me. And I've also used other tools with people like Jim Camp Start With No kinds of things, and but always keeping the focus on entering my counterpart's world and finding out what's going on for them, being the focus. The tools are a way to accomplish that. So it's just a matter of trying to accomplish that and doing whatever I need to. And it's been interesting to watch my own responses to how the other people's tools work on me. And and they do work often as expected, in that I have certain kinds of feelings and responses. I don't act on them usually because I wonder, oh, am I manipulated? Is this, oh, this is interesting. This is how this works. Okay. And I try then just to prosecute what I'm doing and be aware of the whole process and just do what I need to do without regard for trying to overcome their use of any certain tools or trying to use any certain tools myself, but just to set out to accomplish my objective.
Thank you. That's very interesting. So you actually compliment the other person for using the tools. That's interesting approach, because you are, by doing this, you are essentially turn it around and you're entering their world, and also you're making them aware that you're seeing what they're doing. So that may somehow bring you on the same page. I would say maybe.
Maybe, and I have to admit to having a little bit of a naughty pleasure of, if I point out to someone that they're using tools, then I make them aware of it, and that I'm aware, and that makes it more complex. And I don't have to participate in the game, but I've just made it more difficult for them, probably, without even trying to, without intending to.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder, it's like, I wish we could have a debrief afterwards to say, how was that for you? When I said, oh, you listened to me really well. I really appreciate that. It sounds like you care about how I'm being treated here, or something like that. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I have a funny experience about the same situation, and this was not a real negotiation, but it was a competition. So I was in competition one time with somebody, and it was a negotiation of selling a chair or something. So and I tried to use negotiation, bargaining technique, when you apologize for small price and just provide a lot of empathy to the person, and still not going fast and kind of lowballing on the price when you buy something, and then step a little bit up and step a little bit up, so you agree on a target that you planned, but you start from way below the target. And it's interesting that I had a debrief after the call, and my partner said, you started vossing me right away. So vossing, that means they recognize the Chris Voss techniques, and they say, you started vossing me right away. And I thought that I will never agree to your price, and I will never let you, get away with that. But when I was negotiating, I didn't notice that that person understands that I use the Chris Voss techniques. So I was blind to the fact that they know what I'm doing. And I didn't actually notice a lot of techniques on me as well. So it was a different style used on me. And I was thinking like, oh, this is interesting. I was trying to use Chris Voss negotiation tools, but they didn't. And I think that their approach were successful, and the disguise of awareness of my technique also was successful, very successful. So what do you think about this?
Okay, so it's interesting. I think for me personally, those techniques are like iceberg on a cake, or I mean, icing on a cake, or tip of the iceberg. Like it's the pointing thing that strikes, but in order to put, you have to put the weight. In order to puncture the target, you have to put the weight. You're gonna have to wield it in the right way. You're gonna throw it in the right way, and so on and so forth. So these tools, I mean, if you're just resorting to the tools to cut out deals, it might work, but because you're using certain things that are not natural for you, it's going to come out as manipulative in a sense, because you're trying to hold this hammer, but your hand is kind of like, it's not used to gripping these things. So I would say when I'm negotiating, or when I'm dealing with the conversation that requires the use of tools, those are just maybe 20 to 30% of the communication. And again, it's really is the goal. What is it that I'm trying to achieve? If I'm trying to disarm my counterpart by reducing negative emotional dynamic, I'm just going to be using some of these tools, but it's more about tone of voice. It's more about how I'm communicating what I'm saying. And the tool itself, that's just becomes like a tip of the spear. And if someone is uncomfortable and you haven't noticed that, and they have to bring it out later on as like, oh my God, you've been using these tools and I don't like it. That's in essence what they're saying. That means that perhaps at some point of time, something was lost. Some piece of communication was not there. It was not clicking. And these tools are people using like tools from NLP, for example, or certain tactics and tools and strategies to get the point across. But if they're trying too hard, sometimes it just comes out inauthentic, and it's fairly easy to spot. Like you get this sensation that something is not right in your gut, the instinct. And then if you notice that consciously and you bring it out to the conscious level, well, then there is a chance to address those things and see if it's just you or there is really something kind of sketchy going on. Yeah.
You make a really good point, Eugene, for people clumsily using tools, and the answer to that is practice, and more practice until you just know how to do it. And it's not a tool, it's just something that you do, a way that you respond or know how to respond. And I think a lot of what you said would be that the answer to that problem would be to practice the tools until you own them.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. The practice of it, and especially when it comes to the tone of voice, the delivery, it's important. And it takes a lot of repetition till you get it. And also it's good when you see others doing this, and you can kind of learn from others how they deliver it, and then make yourself kind of repeat and make yourself do the same. Regarding the tools, and when I'm becoming aware of someone using tools, Chris Voss tools on me, I have a kind of funny feeling like I know other tools that they don't know, and I could use something else like nurturing, reversing, big ask, encouraging no, cold calling, or negative strip, or some tools from Crucial Conversations like contrasting, and Crucial Conversations mirroring, or maybe something in terms of the pattern of creating the mutual purpose. So there are so many approaches, and it's the range of tools pretty much limitless. So there's certain tools that are working well, and it's easy to use them. This is probably what Chris Voss figured out, how to easily use something and achieve the results, and easy to master those tools. But still, the practice is important.
And a lot of the most basic tools really are very easy to practice and finally to master.
Yeah, I think it goes a little bit deeper beyond tools too. Like you gotta have to understand where these tools are coming from. What are they trying to achieve? Like if it's a hammer, you want to hammer a nail, but also what's the purpose of hammering a nail? What is it that you're going to achieve? Are you going to crumble that house by hammering that nail, or are you going to make it stronger, or are you going to decorate something in the house with it? So it's really is important to understand, what is it that you're trying to achieve? And these tools are really, if someone is using, another thing I'd like to kind of maybe refrain from my position, when you're saying like someone is using tools against you, I would say they're using tools with you. They are in the conversation with you. So, if you look in the perspective, are they are there to fight you or get something for nothing from you? Then of course that could be a very it's not sort of a conversation. It's not rational, logical conversation, but rather a battle of egos and who's bigger than what. And that could be a challenge in itself. It becomes a conflict. And if you're able to get your counterpart on your side, doesn't mean that they're going to do everything with you or alongside with you, but they start thinking in the same direction as you do. Like you have certain aim or goal together, and then you're exploring ways to get there from point A to point B, and all the roadblocks and all the upstreams and downstreams that might be on that path. That's what I mean by being with you. And just like if you're going on a rafting, for example, if you're rafting down the river, they gotta hold to the end of the boat. They're gonna hold on to the end of the what do you call this, paddle, right? Yeah, so you got to make sure that you work as a team, perhaps, whether it's a big project or a small project, whether you sort of achieving, and if it's, for example, a bargain, you're bargaining, for example, for a car, you got to make sure that you're doing it ethically. Like you don't want to strip down the salesperson, this everything that he has on his end, commission or any other things that he's giving away to you. He's giving it to you, for you, with you. And that's how I prefer to look at this. And if salesman, you're exploring the deal, what else is there for you to kind of get for free, not necessarily for free, meaning the monetary exchange, but also the process itself. How are you engaging in conversation? What sort of mood or dynamic or collaboration? How are you painting this picture, right? Is it fun dealing with you, or it's horrible? Are you making it easier, or are you making it super hard for everyone involved? And these are the things that I think you should be, everyone who's practicing negotiation and communications consciously should, take a long, hard look, because it's not easy to look inside and seeing what is it that you're contributing to the horrible deals that, that you're encountering, if you're encountering it. Yeah.
That touches on something that was very important to me personally, was the integrity of all of this, and that it's not how do I take what you have to offer and give you nothing in return, that it's not about that I win, you lose. It's about we are coming together to solve our common problem or something like that, that I have money to spend and you have a service or product to offer, or you have money to spend and I have a service to offer, that we figure out how we're going to best do that together. And that was an image that was very powerful, was that we're not adversaries, that we're counterparts, that the situation is the adversary, that you and I are standing next to each other looking at the situation and figuring out, how are we going to do this? I'm going to give you some money, you're going to do some work. What works? How is this going to be good, that we're going to participate in this together, that it's not that it's not like this, that it's relationship based, that it's only since starting practicing negotiating stuff that I realized that I prefer relationship business, that I want to find somebody to do business with, because I don't like finding new people to do business with. I want to find out somebody's okay, they're good to deal with, that they're reasonable, that I can talk to them. Yes, it's going to cost me money, but that's the plan. I'm not trying to get it for free. And that's something that I care about. And so the whole integrity and everything, the honesty of these approaches really made a difference to me, because I'm not trying to win at your expense. I'm trying to work out the best thing I can for myself, but at the same time, I'm figuring out, how do we make this work together? And that's really made all the difference, that it's that there's a lot of integrity. and you used another word, I forget, but along those lines, that it's that all of that is really important.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts about this. I will stay in touch, and please, the whole community, the whole world, please ask us questions, and we would like to address your questions and provide our best ideas. If you like this video, please leave comments. We'll post it, and we would like to hear from you about further questions. Thank you so much for today's episode, and we'll stay in touch. Take care, and let's practice together.
Yeah, why can't we all be successful together? Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.